Okay, so I have this spread here, Celtic cross. I wonder if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let's see. Okay. We're getting clear in mental capacity as well as with responsibilities. Really assessing day to day the burdens we carry, um, if they're worth it. Especially now when livelihood is being put to the test. It's everybody's scrambling around, right? And everybody's trying to just make sure they can work and live, and they're putting in all this effort to do so. Pay attention to the feet, the many miles you've walked, the many trips and commutes you've taken back and forth, and this whole routine. You have it structured in a way that you can carry it, that you can handle it, that you have been handling it. And I mean, it's a particular way that you fit your shoes that others cannot, right? You throw something into the mix that is, I mean, because you got a handle, this is past position, you've had a handle on the way in which you carry all of your responsibilities. You do it every single day. Present position is the Six of Swords. Again, look at the feet for those who are watching, for those who are listening. Their feet are positioned in the same direction. Um, it's just being, and this Six of Swords actually looks like somebody is taking measures into their own hands to move others away from or to. It could be commuting. It could be going to check on other people, women, children, elders, and the like, instead of doing what you would normally be doing, which is carrying all your responsibilities. You got your car, full of your work stuff, your gym stuff, you gotta do something at the store when you finish, a return that you've been waiting to, you know, get a refund for, or whatever. You pack up all your things for the day because you're singularly focused on what your to-do list entails. This is showing that others are being taken into consideration. Other people are in mind, and you start to think of who who needs you versus what you need to do for today. It kind of shifts gears from your day-to-day routine and everything that you're prioritizing to actually having a sense of urgency to check on others who may not be as fortunate or who may not have adequate assistance. Now is a time globally where people are being thoughtful and checking in with relatives, friends, colleagues, uh, just people that they have in mind. At the root of it, we have the star. And this is massive because when it comes down to it, no grudges or grievances are like being held. It's the naked truth. It's really where people are getting clear that these are their true intentions. There's little time for abrasiveness. This is more of a, it, Panicked concern. There's a sense of urgency to assure that people are staying safe, that people are getting to the places they need to be. When usually you would be inundated with your own list and host of things to do, now we're taking it back a notch from the 10 to the 6 in a mental capacity versus all the toiling and clocking in, clocking out, 3 hours in traffic if you're here in Atlanta. It's just, we're really starting to see what means what to whom. This is where people start to not grant, but cast wishes to, well, I wish, I could be closer to family. I wish I could be, I would have taken those chances to go see so and so, or I wonder how they're doing. This is that star card where energies and people start to align and they start to notice the calls that come in, the synchronicities, as far as, I was just thinking about you. You've been on my mind. And then you get a telephone call from someone you haven't talked to. That is what happens when you use that mental energy. It is actually the mental energy, those frequencies that it emit from the mind are picked up quicker than you can even imagine. Those are like radio frequencies where, the satellites are so far away and you can still hear, and you can still receive, and you can still, tune your radio depending on where you're at. You ride through Tennessee, you're going to hear country music. You ride through other states and you're going to hear whatever's current, but that's being picked up. The sincere nature of it. The lady on the star card is actually naked. And I see that as being sincere, being stripped of anything malicious that could intervene with your thoughts of others at this time. So on a subconscious level, what you don't necessarily see is the Ace of Wands, and it's sparking a new, how do I want to put this? It's a recombinant, if that's, when they talk about recombinant DNA, these 10 of Wands are actually condensed and compressed like a zip file, okay? And now you have to transfigure, transmute all of those responsibilities, the way that you were carrying all of those duties and how you were spending all of your time and energy has to be compressed. And you have to really, with all of these things that I do, what is a desire? What is a must? What is an option? What is really important at this time? Because I need to make sure that I have a handle on it. I have one aspect, not just one aspect, but I have it clear cut and I can do this and still be able to do all the other things that I desire to do as far as checking in on people. I should always be able, willing, and have time for assisting others in a time of trouble, in a time of need, being that safe place, being that assistance. When did I lose the ability to do this as well as life itself? Isn't this what life is about? Six of Swords. in the near future placement, we have the Three of Swords. And it shows that this is a time where people are distressed. Besides the whole COVID thing going on, you have to consider rather people who don't normally even visit doctors or go to get seen. They don't get any kind of health checks, right? This could prompt, especially after that Virgo full moon, especially the health consciousness, right? And people are realizing they're not as healthy as they once assumed. They figured since they weren't bleeding or nothing was broken, that they didn't need any health adjustments to their lifestyles. And this is a reminder that, oh man, now especially is a time when I need to get that checked out. This is a time where people are going to, those who already have issues with the heart or issues with the lungs here will already be susceptible. But two, this is where you start to cut people, places, and things out that are not for your health emotionally and mentally, and without a second thought. Because of the serious nature of what's happening, it's going to be far easier to cut those cords and to allow people to just be. When you think about it, even a person who has been on again, off again in relationships or friendships that just weren't seeming genuine, would you, Six of Swords, come to my aid if I need help? Would you actually be there to help me if I needed you? And it's looking like there are some decisions being made where you understand that they would not. You would not do the same for me. And this is cause and this is grounds for me removing open heart surgery, removing the blockages, because it isn't helping me. It is actually a hindrance. And now, with that Ten of Wands going down to the Ace of Wands, some of these responsibilities that you've been doing, or some of these obligations you've been holding yourself to, even loyalties to people, are being questioned, because it's not only about survival, but it's about brotherhood, it's about community, it's about, and threes talk about communication, community, networking, and things of that nature. You're going to see where the breakdown is actually happening. And in the position of self, we have the Page of Swords, who is analyzing and doing just that, keeping tabs on Facebook and different updates. And you have people in different regions of the world, so you could be taking notice of what's happening in Italy or in Chicago, in New York, in LA, in Nevada, in Georgia, period. And it's a lot of hearsay, it's a lot of um, misguided information, but the Page of Swords is ready to sift and sort through this stuff. And your environment is Ace of Swords. You can see the truth of the matter as far as how people feel, what side of the fence they lay on, as far as being full of shit or being full of aid and assistance and truth and honesty. Now people are being honest about their feelings, because and what they're facing. They're being truthful about their fears. And that's something that I don't think has been witnessed before. When life is put on the line, which hopes and fears is justice, now people start to display a fairness that they didn't quite have before. And we end with temperance, which is a needing to balance as well as staying hydrated. I have three cards with Well, 4 cards with water, the one is tainted. So justice here signifies to me that this is where everything is getting recalibrated. This whole epidemic, pandemic, whatever you want to call it, it's causing chaos and pandemonium, panic. But also, this is where you'll see guilt. This is where you'll see remorse. This is where the judgment's being made. The justice card is talking about karma, as well as being fair, not just in a human sense, but in a spiritual sense. So with justice, everybody's being put through the metal detector. You have to leave your sharp objects at home. No cell phones in the courtroom. Whatever. This is where you're just in there. You can't Snapchat about it. You can't Facebook about it. You're being put in a rigid, not I say rigid, but it's rigid and it feels abrasive and it feels uh, scary to someone who doesn't know if they're innocent or doesn't think they'll be seen as innocent. And it's not even innocent, it's considered not guilty. Once you're charged for a crime, you can either be not guilty or guilty. You will never be seen as innocent. Otherwise, it wouldn't even be, you wouldn't be tried against or questioned in that manner. They assume. But justice isn't going to assume. When it comes to karmic law, universal law, if you're in question, that means you took some part. Whether it was against you or you were against someone else, your actions. On another note, this fairness, this justice, this recalibration does not care how much money a person has, how wealthy, how affluent, how publicly recognized. It does not matter. Everyone's being held to the same degree of justice. It doesn't matter if no one saw what you did. Everybody's being put back to point zero. Evil, even playing field. I got a lot of that. More is coming, but this temperance, a recalibration, recombinant, recombining. Time. I got time with this card. Temps. Like temperature is but temp, TEMP is time. I think. Let me Google that. Yeah, tempus, which is Latin, tempore, temp, or time. See? Time. Time. It's time. Just in time. Just in case. This is divine timing. You have these three majors that indicate alignment, karma, or law, and time. Aquarius, Libra, Sagittarius. The time of Aries, opposite Libra. Age of Aquarius is coming up. That alignment is coming up on the 20th. Time, Temperance, Sagittarius. From now until the time of Gemini, I'm looking at the opposite. Because that's actually the only air arcana that's missing. I have Libra, Aquarius. Gemini was missing. But it's heavy air influence here. I only have air and swords. I mean, air and fire. Air and fire, air and fire. But the card at the bottom of the deck was the High Priestess. This is a knowing that you realize in Pisces season. Oh, there's Leo with the Strength card. So check it, right? From March 20th, Aries season. The process begins. It's like a court, like being in a high court, okay? Supreme Court or what have you. And all of these events, all of these things are being measured, weighed, mixed. Everything to do with these fluids. I'm talking about blood tests. I'm talking about DNA tests. I'm talking about long-standing things that have not been done. Allergy testing, all kinds of shit. Blood, mineral levels, pH. You're gonna see a lot of things come out too about the water. More things about the water. More things about the water. With masses of people purchasing water, the panic about it too. If you have a filtration device at your home, use it, or buy a Brita something, or one of the more pricey ones that actually take the fluoride and other toxins out of the water so that you can utilize the tap water that you have. There was a water bottle company that used to sell to our store. It was Geyser or something, and they were under litigation and lost because they were processing arsenic not too far from where they were purifying water, which one of the water bottles I had said arsenic free, chlorine free, fluoride free or something like that. And I was like, huh, fluoride was using rat poison. So to see arsenic on the bottle was like, damn, what? So just pay attention. People are in such high demand of water. And I was saying stay hydrated, though the way in which you stay hydrated will be of much importance as well. Eating foods that are high in water content. If you don't have a problem, I'm not, this is not medical advice and this is not legal advice and this is used for entertainment purposes only. Viewers be advised, use your own discernment. Those who have high rates of water retention may want to be careful, even still, taking water pills and diuretics and stuff. Because still, if you have issues with retention, fluid retention, and the water is full of toxins, you're full of toxins. Plain put. My chest is open. My heart chakras are like, there's 4 chambers to the heart. We spoke about this, so I got a whole, yeah. Water your damn plants, please. Daffodils. I have the sun here twice. This is the symbol of the sun, as well as this one. Oh, 3 times. There it is. The sun is a star. There we go. And that's that. Anything else? Anything else? Let's see. Justice. Okay. I'm going to extend this, and I will post the link in the description. Heart. Heart. This whole COVID thing, be careful too, because it does affect the lungs because of the cells found in the lungs. That's what it actually binds to. So pneumonia is high for those who have respiratory weaknesses and issues. I got cough with that. That's Knight of Swords. Whooping. So maybe cases of whooping cough will start to, and whooping cough, and yeah, it's called something else for babies, but and this is like injections. I personally wouldn't accept any injections at this time. Question everything. You want to do what? You say I need what? That is a choice, isn't it? It's a choice. It's a choice, right? Oh, okay. So it's not mandatory. So that means I can go, right? I'm not taking anything without full disclosure. I want to know all the facts, all the details. I'm not taking shit. You're not giving me anything. Nothing. Without full disclosure and breaking it down in layman's terms. And this call will be recorded and monitored for quality assurance. Syringe. When they get the air out of the syringe and that liquid, question everything. Because this person is skeptical. This person, and not in a fear-based way. I don't see any fear-based cards. There's no Nine of Swords. There's not even a feeling of fear. It's just a feeling of questioning and being curious and needing more information. So, question. Talk to your PCP, your primary care physician. Speak to that family friend that works in medicine. See what they know. Talk to somebody who actually has direct access to the everyday public on a medical stage. Because just hearing about it from anchors on the news, they're paraphrasing and trying to get information from doctors or compiling as much information as they can. And a lot of stuff is getting slipped through the cracks. You know? But you don't want that slip through the cracks to become your next burden. Getting away from that. So it's two things going on here. It's on one side, it's so much air. It's so much air. It's so much air. And it's communication and it's thought process and it's what you're being told, what you're reading, what you're seeing, what you're hearing, you know, but it's crowned as an outcome by temperance. Give it time. It's mirroring the entry card, the Six of Swords, is moving towards this temperance where things are calmer, things are more balanced. They're being actually calculated and all that. You know, this is calculation. Abacus and just things are being calculated. Give it time. And you may feel like you don't have it. You do. You do. You can withstand the test of it. At this point, you've encountered far more than, you know. So don't let the fearmonger, the instigator, the ill-informed to veer you off course. You will be met with resistance, even as you're. When I was speaking about people purifying their water or being more health conscious and actually looking what they do day to day and how they can do it better. Ten of Wands to the Ace of Wands. Now people are going to be getting creative. Now people are going to see the importance of dialing it back, simplifying, minimizing. Like, for example, people are trying to figure out, you know, while the kids are out of school, what they're going to do. And being a parent of a homeschooled child, it's like, well, that's easy for me because it was something I chose. I wasn't forced into. And I had been toggling the thought in my mind for a while, and I decided to go ahead and do it. So that alleviates the routine of her going to school and me waiting for teachers to call me and prior support. Like, I have all that stuff. I have access to that now. There's some people are trying to figure out how they're going to even feed their kids on a daily basis, you know, or if they're still working, and their kids are at home, they don't have a sitter. Some people wait for the summer. Wait for the school year to start from the summer because their kids will be gone. Even that's though they're parents and this is something they were willing to do, it now has come at a time when they have to work, they don't have sitters, they're urging people not to take their kids to daycares. What are you going to do? Now, who in your corner, who in your vicinity, who in your life can you actually call on if you have sick children and they're easily susceptible to something? What do you do? Where do you take them? You can't dump them off at grandma's house. Maybe you could, but what if grandma's sick? She needs aid too. So we're having to really look at the state of things. People that we forgot about that, go to dialysis every week, or people who have been battling pneumonia. Oh yeah, such and such just had pneumonia. Did you call and check on them? Have you called your peoples and seen, hey, you got enough water over there, or you got enough food in the event of a 2-week shutdown and nobody can get to work? Grocery stores closed, or those may be the only stores that stay open. You have to think about people getting their prescriptions from the pharmacy. Pharmacies are open. Maybe your neighbor cannot make it to the store. That's what I was talking about with community. Community, siblings, networking. This 3 numerology, period. But it's also associated with Mercury and Gemini, which I said was a component that was missing. Now people are being reset karmically, universally. Justice. This is the bridge between where animals and spirit meet. You have Ram, the twins, the twins and the virgin. Those are the only people of the zodiac, right? Once you get to Virgo and you get to Libra, you start talking about things that are not people. Scales. The scorpion is symbolic, but it's not necessarily even about being a scorpion itself. It's talking about death and the underworld. It's about what the scorpion does to you. The phoenix, the eagle. Those are totems of ascension, totems of process, evolutionary process. You have the centaur, you have the water goat. These are mythos. These are mythical creatures that we're getting into. The water bearer is not talking about the water. It's the entity that holds it. I think of Aquarius as a cloud because Uranus rules lightning. So, even with Pisces being fish, and there was this I'm sorry, got a phone call. There was this experiment we did in physics class where there was a current in some water and it separated 2 fish and they couldn't pass because of, the ions just kept them on their own sides. It was a current of energy that was being cast between them. And I was like, oh my God, don't hurt the fish. You know what I mean? But it was more so, this is a dividing line here. where, as I stated, people are going to be divided into two groups, two categories in this court, in this high court. Those who do and those who do not. Those who have and those who will not. Or what have, whatever the question posed is. Because when it comes to universal law versus man-made law, and I'm not even just speaking on like you have a lot of unwritten rules that people consider as far as ethically and morally and what they value. But if they don't align with universal law, they're going to be cut down. They're going to be removed. It humbles a lot of people, myself included. I'm not, above. Even I've been held in regard to man-made law. But knowing what the purpose was for me karmically, spiritually, universally, I was able to see it with different knowing, with different eyes. That was my reset in a way that took me to the Pisces energy so I could be alone with my subconscious with no outside stimuli. Happened twice in my life. Over traffic tickets. One was a headlight and one was lapses of insurance. Cost more than the insurance itself. And I had a 2.5 day vacation. But I could hear. I could clearly hear what was coming through. Open up my damn ears, my spiritual ones, even more so. And I started to understand a lot more. So the reading went up these levels. It started really simple. And then I do this thing and I just get into it. So yeah, it's a lot. There ain't gonna be no extended. Oh, let's see. Oh, in mind, I said I want to see the Three of Swords. It becomes a lot easier to see when people's lives are on the line and they're scrambling. And it's like, well, I don't know if I'm going to make it till tomorrow. I might as well tell you what I feel, what I think, what I have been keeping. Shit. I read a post and it said, you're basically choosing an apocalypse partner, so you better choose wisely. And I thought it was funny because that's actually what I was thinking for the last 10 years. When it comes down to my trust factor, it's like, can I trust you with my life? You would lie, you would cheat, you would steal, you would kill me. I don't know why I got these in. So it's like, damn, if you would lie about something small, I don't really have much confidence in your ability to keep me safe, which I can do for myself, but if we're doing all those other things, what they want to Netflix and chill, and they want to, go turn up and do all this other stuff. Are you a protector? Can you defend yourself? I have a child, so that's who I'm going to be focused on. But if you're in my life, could you accompany me in that? That's a lot to ask. That's a lot to consider. And not a lot of people, you may be compatible on paper, you may be compatible in what you like, but there's a separateness when it comes to true core values, true core issues, where your heart lies and where it lies. Those are the things that are coming up for coagula and dissolve. That's death card energy, actually. We have the strength, right? To coagulate is to come together. To come together. Coagulation of the blood is blood clotting. People who have too thick of blood or have problems with having a lot of blood clots, they have to take blood thinners. But people whose blood don't clot very easily, just leaking, a cut. People who have diabetes have an issue with their blood clotting. So it's best for them to be careful. That's why they can't just go get pedicures at the salon. They have to go to the podiatrist and get their feet done because they risk infection. Could you? Would you? Are you able? This, and I'm glad it came out near this star card because this is a loss of hope. They're in front of a chapel or a church. Stained glass window shows me this is a faith card. This is a hope card, wish card, praying card, healing card. This is a card about a test of faith. As difficult as it is for them to be in this position, this person is injured, right? Whether it's spiritually injured, emotionally injured, financially, physically, what have you. And they're with this person who looks on the surface to be in better health. They're with them. And it's a time where they're really analyzing the Three of Swords, the Ten of Swords, the Moon card, really analyzing the subconscious. Can this person go with me? Can I slow down to make sure that they have everything they need? Now it's a question. Damn. Is it too burdensome? Or can I do this with them? This person is carrying the weight all on their own. And this person is helping usher in assistance. A decision was made though, and I feel that. But I feel like now more information is coming in. So it's a retracting, that same retracting energy that I was saying, dialing it back. So it's like keeping it simple. Like let's go backwards. What else? What's up with this justice? Justice says, it's me, bitches. It's me. And people are worried. Oh, people are worried. Because now it's like, oh, the judge and the jury. There's worry. There's a lot of worry. And it's because people don't know. The Three of Swords came out to clarify the Three of Swords. Justice came out to clarify justice. People don't know where they're at. Now, merit and integrity and all of this stuff. Did I act in integrity? Did I do what I was supposed to have done? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? What about that one time when I, dot, dot, dot? It's really coming to that conclusion, that decision about one's own doings, one's own character, one's own integrity. That's like, it's causing some stress and strain. If you die tomorrow, Lord forbid, what would be the judgment? Aries? I was just talking about this guy. Well, Aries season's coming up. Because I saw the progression. Aquarius, Pisces, Aries. I talked about the 20th. The age of Aquarius and all that alignment I was seeing. I'll set you right there. Page of Swords. What are you finding? What are you finding out? Page of Swords. Finding out the secrets? Finding out the missing information. High Priestess showing up twice. Ace of Swords. Do I want to take these? I got Two of Swords and Page of Pentacles. I'm putting them back. Ace of Swords. This wanted to come out again. What you didn't know. Where there was no choice, now there is. Where people thought they were just trapped and had no options, now there is. No, you always had options. You just didn't want to make a choice. That's a difference. Ace of Swords. Could you protect me? Would you protect me? Are you able? Are you capable? If my life is on the line, could we work together? You know, some people, oh, Queen of Swords. Got the King of Swords over there. You know, some people are not equipped to protect. I'm talking about women, elderly, children, whatever. Some women are. Not really going into that, but you know those who cannot actually fend. Oh my gosh. You know those who cannot fend for themselves or who cannot provide for themselves. They, they may not work. They may be have conditions, physical or otherwise. You know those people. You will know right off the bat who needs that type of help. But there will be other people who have been seemingly able-bodied, able-minded, economically out there, working every day. And there's that questioning. There's that questioning. It's like now, all that stuff that has been hidden, all that stuff that wasn't talked about, we need to talk about that. I've been trying to talk about that with you. You've been avoiding the conversation. You've been ghosting. You've been doing this, or, the conversation gets brittle, like some split ends, every time you talk to certain people about certain things. And it lets you know who's equipped and who isn't. So when it comes down to the come down, this is why this has to happen. This is why I have to do what I have to do. Because when it comes down to it, a life partner, friendships that last a lifetime, these siblings, these friendships, if you do not have my best interest at heart, you're self-serving your best interest, and that may hurt me. I'm not in a position, the world is not in a position to continue in that way. Not in a position to continue that way. All this thought, all this fear, all this worry. Now this card comes up. Now cards like this come up. Subconscious. That's where fears are. That's where secrets are. Secret seclusion. Institutions, mental hospitals, psychosis, things of that nature. This is being eradicated. This is being done away with. Backed up. We got every one of the swords suit, the people in this reading. They really came to show their ass. Spades. Show me for temperance. Time. Sagittarius energy backing it up. Mercury and Sagittarius. We still got a ways before that actual mercurial alignment, but it's talking about time. Time for what? To leave shit where it is. Time is 8. We have 4 8s coming out in succession. Only thing I'm missing is that, we got the sun at the bottom. 8 of Pentacles, which is a card about craft, trade, putting in time. You've put in the time. Things speed up or things sped up and you did this, or things are speeding up and it'll cause you to do that. To leave friendships, relationships, workplaces, relocations. We've got the 6 of Swords there. That's relocation. Where you thought you were stuck or you thought you were bound. Now there's a sense of not. Now there's a sense of choice. Oh, I did have choices. No, you had options, always. But you were in the problem and you couldn't see them. This is being stuck in the problem. You can't see the solutions from there. When you remove the mind from the problem and look at it as if it's someone else's problem, you now see options so that you can make better choices. All these 8s. 8 is a power number. That's aligned with Scorpio, but it's also aligned with, to me, the Devil card, because you can make a choice I was talking about that best interests. There's that fine line. There's that deciding factor when making those choices with the integrity, with the overall ambition for making that choice is all about, that either aligns it with the lovers or the devil, the fool, Aquarian energy, Uranus energy. That water, it's rushing. So I feel that all of a sudden, those same as choices that have been made because of those same as options that you only see because you're stuck in the problem, now you see something completely different. Now you see a different way. Ace of Wands, please. I got 2 aces on this board. No, too many. Ace of Swords, please. L. Ace of Swords. That comes first, right? Because we don't see the Ace of Wands coming. I'm going to show you what's coming first. Ace of Swords is in the environment. This is the moment of truth. Queen of Cups. Behind her is Ace of Pentacles. 6 of Swords, which we saw in the present. So this is present. This is something that has already transpired. This is the present moment, and then we were coming up on the hopes and fears. Queen of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. This Queen of Cups is not even facing the new prosperity or the new beginning or the gateway. If this is to be a portal to a new way of life, this Queen of Cups is not facing that way. She is so far deep in her emotions, lost in this labyrinth here, that this eludes her. You have to be careful because we have a lot of mental energy on the board. We have a lot of fire energy on the board. And the only cups that we had so far had to do with not wanting this shit. This energy right there. That's what you don't see. And this shit happened fast. This stuck shit. Oh, I'm just dropping cards. This stuck shit. I'm sorry. Can't do stuck. I can't do stuck, and that's only fair. I gotta get me and mine up out of here. Because this shit crazy. This shit crazy. I can't do it. Who wants to be stuck like this? Who wants to feel mentally? You have no walls around you except for the ones in your house. You outside and you still feel like you're caged in. If you're at work feeling like that, if you're in the house feeling like that, you're chilling with your family and you're feeling like that, it's time for a new choice. Your friendships cannot feel like this. They just can't. So what you don't necessarily see in the subconscious sector, what's coming in from the ethers to be rooted in the foundation. This is the foundation. right? Where these healing energies and the the things that you have manifested actually start to show you signs of growth, and you start to get nuances and symbolism from familiars and energies and birds and shit. Yeah, significant, right? Because this is coming. Planting. It's planting. Where all of this stuff, you had all this shit, and it wasn't even a viable crop. You couldn't even really get it for what it was worth. And it just seemed like you were just doing all this bulk work and not even getting a good return on your investment. And it's just the work that you put in, the labor, that is where the rewards get cut. As far as in the physical world, you'll see all this work that you do and you do and do and do and produce and produce and produce and produce, and then everything else gets its cut first, and what you're left with is a iota of the bounty, right? This is changing that, where a person is saying, I am the bounty. I have the bounty. Now I'm going to be plenty full instead of, I'm going to be plentiful instead of plenty full. You see the difference? So what comes with that is this: a person who's capable, Queen of Pentacles, of growing things, growing, sowing, harvest, production in an ecological, economical, astronomical way. This Two of Cups, and I've spoke on this before, and I don't know if you all remember, this is not the medical symbol. This is a caduceus. The Asclepius is a staff with one snake around it. That's medical. This is the staff of caduceus, which is a symbol of commerce. It protects thieves, merchants, travelers, Hermes, Mercury, things of that nature. Okay. And I say thieves because they work with commerce as well. They work with goods and money. Not necessarily, but even then, two, there's two sides to it. Two sides, right? Double-edged sword, correct? When things get weighed up, it's going to weigh, though they have protection. This could be a pairing of two people who have like interests, and this could also be a pairing of two people with different interests. Of course, people want to keep themselves safe, they want to keep themselves happy and this and that, but this type of queen is not like this type of queen. She's so immersed in herself that she cannot see anything else. She could drown in that cup. That's how deep it goes with all that subconscious stuff. This queen has so much growth around her. All she had to do was sit in it, and her energy just, these roses, this is a protective border, and you'll only see another border like this on the Magician card. So we're looking at capability. We're looking at partner potential. There's pebbles. I don't even see any growth. There's no growth. It's just water. This is growth. This is prosperity. This is abundance. This is the things that become physical and actually tangible. You can put your hands on them. That's what is aligned with this portal here. This staff, there has to be a meeting of the minds. There has to be a meeting financially, communicatively, oh, my stomach, spiritually, and emotionally. We have to know. I put that Five of Pentacles back, but that we have similar interests as far as if this person is self-serving, they only have their best interest in mind, it can harm the other person. He's approaching her for what? What are you offering? What are you bringing? What are you actually trying to give me? It has to be the question. Because I can keep your best interest at heart, but I also need mine considered as well. Commerce, barter, trade. I spoke about the Eight of Pentacles not being here, but in a way it is. There's work that has to be done on this. There is a lot to consider. This is about value. So yeah, you can have chemistry with somebody or you can find somebody attractive, but this Two of Cups don't mean shit, and it damn sure don't mean soulmate. Doesn't mean soulmate. It's partnership. It's actually more aligned with Libra energy, legalities, and partnership than it has to do with romance. So in a sense, this is like a pairing, a person who defends, a person who is accused, or just anything. A judge and a damn what's the dude? Bailiff. You know what I'm saying? It's a partnership. I have something that you need, you have something that I need, but you want to make sure that it's not in a way that falls on the end of thievery instead of business. You know what I'm saying? It's an exchange. There's an exchange here. That's why I bring up business, because it's a merchant symbol sitting in between them. Nothing to do with health. You don't know how healthy, wealthy, or wise this person is. And I mean, they see the Queen of Pentacles. If they're leaving a stagnant, murky, bottomless pit of emotion, a situation that just has no beginning, and I mean, it had a beginning, but it has absolutely no end. It's insanity. So, and I mean insanity on a subconscious level. I truly mean that. This has its seasons. There will be a quiet time in the winter. You can expect the budding in the spring, which I'm noticing now. You will see and feel and know the hot summer, and then things will start to wane, and you'll start to notice things falling from the trees. You will see the progression of the seasons. But with this, there was no difference. There was no change. There was no, you couldn't tell if you were, 100 feet under the water or fucking 50. There was no measure. This has more measure. This is more definite. It has definition. This is a type of energy where you can see movement, growth. Just there's so much. There's element. There's highs and lows. There's depth. There's and you can have depth. You can start to walk and fall off the damn, drop down into the beach. That's why my mom didn't know how to swim. She walking in the sand and it dropped. Scared the shit out of her, right? And she was a Pisces. You can see these heights. You can see the lows. You can see the valleys. You can see the growth, the lushness. There's a drastic difference. Don't know how that went there. Moon. Yeah. That Pisces energy that we're about to leave up out of. What are you going to do with it? Okay. We'll see. Thank you guys. I'll see you later.